AD Boggs discusses GCU joining the Mountain West. It's an exciting time for Mountain West fans, so we're back on the Big Mountain to talk with a very special guest. Hey, welcome back to the Big Mountain. I am JY. This is my good friend Steve. We have asked Jamie Boggs, the athletic director of Grand Canyon University, to join us again here on the Big Mountain to talk about the new news last month where GCU joining the Mountain West this year. We have a lot to talk about with her. We also talk about kind of the new environment with NIL and where they're headed and the opportunities that they may have moving forward. So without further ado, here's our discussion with AD Boggs. All right, AD Boggs, welcome back to the Big Mountain.
So happy to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes, we're excited to talk with you. Of course, the last time we talked, it was about the announcement of GCU joining the Mountain West. Well, now we're talking when GCU is a part of the Mountain West. That was announced on July 8th, about a month ago here, that you're now a full member here in 2025-26 for this school year. Can you talk to us about what this means for GCU to be able to be a part of the Mountain West Conference, and also the process that you undertook here over the past many months to kind of get this done?
Yeah, so first off, we are so incredibly excited to be a part of the Mountain West. We were excited when we were going to join in 2026. I think I've said it frequently that we're so excited about the national brands in the conference, about the passionate fan bases, about the exposure, about the enhanced levels of competition. So to be able to get that, to be able to be a part of that a year earlier, we are so thankful and very feel very blessed to be able to be a part of the Mountain West for this upcoming year. It does mean a lot for us. You know, we knew that with the announcement of us going to the Mountain West, that the level of recruiting and the type of scheduling that we could get would be enhanced. And that's absolutely happened. But to be able to go even start a little bit earlier so that we can meet our goals of really being a nationally successful athletics program, that gives us one step earlier. We're getting in there 1 year earlier. So means a lot for us. And the process, it was long because, you know, it was known that we were in a little bit of a sticky situation as far as our conference membership for this upcoming year. And there was nothing that could be guaranteed to us. We had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. We knew we had to be ready for any type of scenario. And our plan A was, of course, to do everything we could do to get into the Mountain West. And we are so thankful for Commissioner Gloria Navarro's leadership, as well as the president's. It took a lot to be able to make this happen, and the support of the athletic directors. So it's been really great, and it brings so much to us as a university, but we are also hoping that we bring a lot to the Mountain West with our level of competition, with our investment, and with our brand as well.
Well, I think there's no doubt about that. You absolutely are bringing a lot to the table here for the Mountain West. We've talked about that many a times here on our podcast. I think just getting into the Phoenix area there, and even just the state of Arizona for the Mountain West is phenomenal. But, you know, Phoenix is just a huge city, growing leaps and bounds, and I think it's phenomenal for both parties here. Go ahead, Steve.
Jamie, just a quick follow-up question. You talked about the process and all of that. I gotta ask, I gotta know. Who asked who first? Was this a situation where, you know, you needed some place to put your sports and or put your basketball team this year and you went to the Mountain West? Or when they found out about it, did the Commissioner Navarez call you up and say, hey, well, you want to come play basketball a year early? Who started the ball rolling on that process?
It was a discussion. It was a discussion. And I think it was pretty known that, you know, if the circumstances that we were in and with as far as membership, it was great circumstances. I mean, it feels great as a university and as an institution to be desired by other conferences. But you know, if we were to for us to go into the Mountain West, it did put us in a little bit of a challenging predicament for this year. So there was discussions, and again, we are just so appreciative that Gloria and the Mountain West as a whole, they're so mindful of student athlete welfare. They understand the bigger picture. And despite all these things that are happening, the changing collegiate landscape, ultimately, student athletes and making sure that they have the best possible experience and are given these opportunities for championships, and to compete in a unbelievable conference, that mattered the most. So again, just very thankful for her leadership throughout the entire process.
Well, and I believe you're, elevating the strength of competition here across the board for the Mountain West. I believe you have 17 sports that are going to be playing here in the conference this year. You have a few other teams that have some affiliate memberships to which the Mountain West, doesn't sponsor those teams or those sports. But can you speak to, what it means? You've talked about you had like an A, B, and C, and I'm sure some of those, maybe all of them, except for Plan A here, was probably, not being able to compete for a conference championship here in this year. And of course, that's huge for any team and any university, especially one that's used to competing for and achieving championships. Can you speak to kind of what that means for you, your university, and did the unknown of that have any real impact on your athletes over these past maybe 6 months or so? Or hey, here we go, we're still fine, and we're moving forward.
Yeah, it was. I would like to say that everything was smooth and everyone was calm and there was no anxiety whatsoever. But it's a big deal to be in such a strong conference, and it was such a very exciting for our entire university, including our student athletes. So, of course, there was a lot of anxiousness. Where are we going to be? Where are we going to play? The positive is we had been in such good communication with our head coaches. We have a very open door policy. We try to communicate as much as we can. And so, in times of uncertainty, the best thing you can do is just be there to either just listen or to provide as much feedback and communication as you can. And that's what we tried to be, even though we weren't sure of whether it was A, B, or C. But we let everyone know there's an A, B, and C.
Yeah, right.
I think just that provides a little bit of, a little bit of calm in a very uncertain situation. So, but there's being in this league in the Mountain West, it was always our top priority in our A, B, and C. And, everyone knew we were very clear about what does it mean to be in the Mountain West. And we're data driven. And I don't know how much you guys have looked for the numbers, but if you look at how strong the conference is in all the sports, it's pretty
Yes.
impressive. I mean, people think about, the success we had football last year, and then of course men's basketball with so many teams going to the conference tournament. But my goodness, I mean, softball, sixth best conference in the country, women's basketball, volleyball, all these top 10 sports as a conference. I mean, that's really impressive. So no matter how much you have your A, B, and C, the eagerness to get into the Mountain West was very palpable. And I was of course on, anything we could do to get in, we were gonna do. So, but now, just once the announcement came on July 8th, there was just a sense of relief, excitement, and just it was almost like reliving the first year's announcement of getting in for 2026. So we're all very happy, all very excited. And the other thing is, we're so excited about the fan base. Just seeing how everyone responds and just the very friendly but competitive chatter. This is amazing. It's exactly what we knew, what we thought the Mountain West would be, and we're just thrilled.
Well, you mentioned the other sport. I mean, we're very football focused here. We dabble into basketball every so often, but of course, we're very Mountain West focused. And any sort of membership change, we absolutely have to talk about. But even in the spring, I mean, as we kind of get over the sports season, I follow the Mountain West on their socials, and they have national champions in track and field events and everything like that. So a very successful conference here is the Mountain West. And you mentioned the fans, so I want to get to maybe letting you talk to maybe some of the Mountain West fans that maybe even haven't heard you speak before. And let's talk a little bit about your Havocs. For those that don't know who the Havocs are, if you can, kind of fill in some of these Mountain West fan bases on who the Havocs are. But I also want to hear, kind of from you in terms of what are your goals and what are your expectations here moving. I'm not going to try to talk bad about the WAC, but moving up into the Mountain West. What are your expectations and goals for your athletic programming here in 25-26?
Well, so first, to answer your question about the Havocs, who I call the greatest student section in the country, they are just a very, very passionate, caring, service-oriented group of students. We have something really unique at GCU. We have a great culture here. That's, I think, we most people know we're one of the largest Christian universities in the country, and we attract students who they have the biggest hearts. They want to be part of a community, something bigger than themselves, and they have a heart to serve. And so we have a passionate student base, and they're not just there for the game; they're there for the community. And we're appreciative that we can be a place where they can gather for the community. And don't get me wrong; they love their sports, and they know their sports. They know our programs, and they're to support. But I feel like they're another level of passion for our athletics program, just because they have such big hearts to serve and to be there for their fellow students, and we try to do the same in return. We say this all the time. Athletics, we are not the stars of this community, but we're a part of this community. So we have this great community together, and it's something really unique. It's something really special that I have never seen at any other university. So I feel like we're passionate, but with just a little bit more. We're passionate, but with a little bit of Christ in there too.
Go ahead, Steve.
A quick follow-up question. JY asked you about what are the, what should the fans expect from GCU? And you talked about the passionate fan base. I want to talk a little bit about men's basketball if we can. As soon as I heard that you guys were joining a year early, I thought right away, what a great basketball conference the Mountain West has already been. There are some members that are moving on, transitioning to a new conference, but now we get 1 year where you guys are joining what is already a pretty awesome basketball conference. So what are your expectations for men's basketball this first year? And then moving forward from a national perspective, I think we've come to expect GCU to be in the tournament every single year. Is that realistic moving forward? Is that your expectations moving forward, is to be a tournament team every year?
I'm glad you expect that, because I expect that as well. Absolutely. The basketball programs going into the season, I mean, it's going to be incredible. The Mountain West is one of the best basketball conferences in the country, and of course, as I mentioned, we want to add to that. I think we will. Looking at what we did in this past recruiting season, we are unbelievably excited. I think our fan base is excited. Looking at the rankings of how schools did in the transfer portal, I believe we finished top 35. And I don't think that even included all of our transfers yet. So we should be bringing in a very strong team coming into the league this year. We got a lot of high energy kids. They're very athletic, fast, very skilled. And just off the court, oh my gosh, they're so fun to be around. They're just a really good outgoing group of guys. So we do have high expectations for our basketball program. We scheduled a little tougher this year than we normally do, knowing that it's going to be a tough conference tournament. I am so excited about the conference tournament in Las Vegas, but we know it's going to be tough. We scheduled knowing it's going to be tough, and our expectation is to get into the tournament again right away in our first year in the Mountain West. And as far as our other programs, our expectation is the same for all of them. We've talked about this numerous times over the summer, and as we are getting ready to transition into the Mountain West, and I'm so appreciative of our time in the WAC, and they were a great conference to us. We do realize that we're moving into an entire another level of not just competition, but everything across the board. I mean, again, the fan bases, the coverage, the exposure, the marketing, everything. So every area in our department, from compliance to marketing to our programs, our message is, guys, we got to level up. We got to level up to make sure that we meet our goal of finishing in the top of the Mountain West in every single program. So yes, men's basketball, no question. That is our expectation for every single program.
Well, I'd like to maybe shift kind of to the final segment, maybe have a couple questions for you about this new environment. Want to talk a little bit about maybe rev share and where GCU is at here, both today and what you're planning on in the future. I heard you speak at the NACTA convention here just a little bit ago, and you said something along the lines of you're very, very bullish on how GCU is positioned now in this new environment. And, you view this as an opportunity for yourselves there at GCU. And without football, you kind of have an opportunity to allocate resources maybe very differently than at least all the other members of the Mountain West, minus UC Davis, who's joining without football. So I guess my first question on this is just, can you speak to how you plan to position GCU today and into the future for these opportunities?
Yeah, I think it really starts out with the health of the university. The success of an athletics program depends heavily on the health of the university. And I've talked about this before, but as a university, we've grown very quickly, and we're continuing to have that strong level of national interest in us from an enrollment standpoint. 26,000 students. I don't know exactly our number for this upcoming year, but again, 900 to 26,000 students in a small amount of time. So there's so much interest. Our enrollment is strong. The interest in our university from corporate sponsors, from donors, from just the community, from potential broadcast partners, it's all so strong. And because of that, our athletics program has been able to have a tremendous amount of success. We've just won our 76th championship in a very short period of time to being Division I. So all that being said, that helps our ability to build really strong NIL opportunities for our student athletes. I don't like to use the word rev share because 93% of universities lose money on athletics. So I'm not sure what's being shared as far as revenue. But as far as NIL opportunities, we want to make sure for some of our programs, it maybe means it's the top of the conference because it's based on market. So, you want to make sure if based on free market that you're getting those top market student athletes. And for some programs, it could be top 25. We want to make sure from an NIL opportunity standpoint, we are one of the top in the country. And so, again, it takes the strength of the entire university to get these things. Without people knowing that Grand Canyon University is one of the largest Christian universities, private universities, Division I universities in the country, we don't have these opportunities in athletics program, but because of that, we are very well set to be top of the Mountain West. And again, in some programs, we're going to be top in the country.
Okay.
So, Jamie, just a quick follow-up on that. You talked about the strength of the university feeding into athletics. I want to ask you, has there been any evidence of the corollary to that or the reverse of that? We talked to Tarleton State's AD before in the past, and they talked about, they got on ESPN before and the announcement of Mountain West, and it led to an increase in people just going to the school's website and looking at enrollment information. We hear so much about the enrollment cliff coming for all schools across the country. I know you guys are growing, but have you guys really burst onto the national stage as far as the men's basketball tournament? Now you're joining the Mountain West, and even earlier. Has there any metrics that has shown that your success in athletics has also gone back to helping with interest in the university and enrollment numbers and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a data-driven university, and so the national exposure opportunities absolutely do provide some benefits to the university. Every time we've been on national TV, we go back and look at the data. What are the Google searches? And there's always a spike. You see a huge spike, and that happened when we were on the Major League Baseball Network, and whenever we're in the NCAA tournament. So as far as brand awareness, absolutely, it does bring value back to the university. So I think they go hand in hand. I mean, we know as an athletics program, we are the front porch to the university. We are sometimes often people's first perception of a university. So we take that we are very responsible about that. We know it's a huge responsibility for us. So we make sure we do whatever we can to reflect the overall university. So we all talk about winning for a purpose bigger than ourselves. We talk about that as a department quite a bit, and it absolutely is the truth. All of us love being at GCU. If you look at the leadership team that I'm on and my staff, we've been here we were talking yesterday, we've been here like 10 years in athletics. And if you look at our executive team, they've been here for 20 years, together 20 years, and at GCU from the start of when President Mueller brought them in. So, there's just we're so proud of this university, and we are proud of what this university stands for. We're proud of our Christian mission. So, as an athletics program, we absolutely want to win and bring that attention and tell the great story of GCU.
Absolutely. I have one last question for you. Of course, we met with Commissioner Navarez a few weeks ago at Mountain West Media Days, a topic I was not going to bring up, but she brought it up in our discussion, so I have to bring it up with you. I promised I would. That has to do with football. A question you probably get almost every time you speak. I believe the answer is going to be, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as of right now, there's no plans to add football in the near future. You're very focused on what you have, the programming you have. But maybe I'm mistaken. Jamie, can you maybe correct me or say, yes, that's where you're at right now?
You had the 80s response so perfectly. I mean, nailed it. Yeah, so in the near future, our focus is on basketball and our current programs. And again, we just transitioned into the Mountain West, and our goal is to be top of the Mountain West in every program. So for the near future, that is going to be our focus, and we're going to allocate our resources.
Well, certainly plenty to focus on here in the near future with what you have going on, your transition into the Mountain West. The announcement on July 8th, 8 days into this school year, this fiscal year. Scheduling, and you talked about your basketball scheduling, a lot going on there at GCU. We are super excited. I know most of the Mountain West fans I talk to are extremely excited to have GCU a year early. So we're going to be following you guys throughout. Of course, we'll follow your basketball teams once we get into that. And we thank you so much again for joining us on the Big Mountain.
Thank you so much. We can't wait to host you guys at a game. We can't wait to host the Mountain West fans. It's going to be great.
What a great conversation there with AD Boggs, Steve. So excited to have GCU here in the Mountain West.
Yeah, like I said when we had her on, the first thing I thought about when they made this new announcement was that we're going to have GCU in the Mountain West for basketball season this year.
Yeah.
It was awesome just getting some time to talk to her, hear about how excited they are and how they're, moving forward with this process even a year earlier than we thought. So awesome conversation. I can't wait to see what Mountain West basketball is going to be like this season, and the Mountain West basketball tournament is going to be bananas.
Absolutely bananas. I am happy we get to see all of these teams in this conference here for 1 year before things change a little bit here in 2026, 27. But yeah, this is a phenomenal basketball conference. And as we talked with her, I think all of the Lopes sports are elevating all of the conference. Again, I've said it before, it's a win-win here. I love that this gets the Mountain West down into the Phoenix, Arizona area. And it is absolutely elevating the programming that the conference has here across the board, no doubt about it. So, we'd only have so much time. We can't go through all the sports. That would take forever. But really anxious, really hopeful that, this is a great year for both the Mountain West and GCU. I absolutely think it will be. And with that, hey, we thank you guys for watching. So make sure you smash the like button on this and subscribe if you like our content. We follow everything Mountain West, everything Big Ten, and we're getting ready for football season 2025, and we will pick all the Mountain West and Big Ten games. Super excited for that. So, hey, we thank you guys for watching this, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.